If you are able, please stand for the playing of the national anthem. You may be seated. Good evening. On behalf of the Warrensburg R6 School District, I'm pleased to welcome you to the May 19, 2018 Warrensburg High School commencement ceremonies. We are here to celebrate the accomplishments of these 222 seniors. High school graduation is one of life's most memorable events. The express purpose of this ceremony is to recognize these students who have successfully completed the program of studies required by our school district to receive a high school diploma. I want to express a special welcome to parents, family members, and guardians of the members of this senior class. I would also like to acknowledge all alumni of Warrensburg High School. Please raise your hand if you are a former graduate of Warrensburg High School. As superintendent of the Warrensburg R6 School District, and more importantly, a proud member of this same group of people, we congratulate all of the graduates and look forward to you joining us as alumni of this great school district. An event like this can only take place with the support and efforts of many individuals. Please allow me to recognize just a few. Honored guests on the stage this evening on the front row, from my left, Mrs. Beth Rutt, board member, Mr. Glen Gillogly, counselor, Dr. Holly Jennings, assistant principal, Mrs. Sarah Chapman, assistant principal, Dr. Bret Pummill, principal, Mr. Gary Grigsby, board president, Mr. Tom McCormick, board vice president, Mr. Jerry Crouse, counselor, Mrs. Kelly Nimmo, counselor. On the second row, from my left, Mr. Rick Miller, board member, Dr. Andy Cole, assistant superintendent, Dr. Michael Scott, assistant superintendent, Mr. Morris Collins, board member, Dr. Scott Chenault, board member, and Mr. Justin Johnson, board member. Please help me in thanking these folks. I also want to take the opportunity to recognize all the faculty and staff from the Warrensburg R6 School District, many of who are with us this evening. The graduation of a student is the culmination of the efforts of all staff members. These efforts begin the moment a student enters kindergarten and continues to this very moment. At this time, I would like for every faculty and staff member here this evening to stand and please be recognized. Thank you. As you arrived this evening, you heard an outstanding musical selections performed by the Warrensburg High School Band. The band has earned a reputation for excellence and is under the direction of Mrs. Stephanie Sikelski. Please join me in expressing our appreciation to the Warrensburg High School Band. On behalf of the Warrensburg R6 School District, I would also like to acknowledge and thank the University of Central Missouri for their cooperation and assistance in allowing us to hold our graduation ceremonies here at UCM. We greatly appreciate our many partnerships and strong relationships with this fine institution. Please join me in thanking UCM President Dr. Charles Ambrose and the University of Central Missouri. I have identified many individuals who helped make this event possible. However, I know there are others who have not been acknowledged. Students, there are many people who have made certain you had the opportunity to be here this evening. You took the opportunities provided to you, worked hard, and earned this diploma. Please do not forget to thank your family, your teachers, your friends, and others who have supported you and encouraged you. Many of these people are here tonight, however, others are not. Please join me in a moment of silent reflection and appreciation. Thank you. Later in the program, the names of each senior will be read as they cross the stage. We ask that everyone is in attendance here tonight be mindful of the importance of this ceremony and give it the respect that it deserves. Each and every student and his or her family deserve our respect and attention. In consideration of this, we respectfully make the following requests of those in attendance tonight. Please remain seated so those around you can observe the ceremony. Noisemakers such as air horns are not appropriate during the ceremony and should not be used. This is disruptive and disrespectful of this ceremony. Please refrain from using noisemakers until the ceremony is completed. Please listen attentively so those around you can also hear. On behalf of the administration, school board, faculty, staff, and most importantly, these 222 students, I ask you to help make this a dignified, memorable ceremony. Thank you for your consideration. Later this evening, project graduation will take place, and I encourage the senior class to take full advantage of the food, fun, prizes, and activities planned. On behalf of the district, I extend our sincere appreciation to the parents and the patrons involved in making project graduation possible. At this time, I would like to ask the concert choir to come forward. This outstanding group is under the direction of Miss Whitney Anderson.
It is with great honor I introduce our speaker for the evening, Mr. Jerry Crouse. Mr. Crouse graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Economics from Bridgewater College in 1979, a Master's in Divinity from Bethany Theological Seminary in 1987, and a Master of Science in Counseling from the University of Central Missouri in 2006. Mr. Crouse has served Warrensburg High School as a counselor for the past 8 years and continually encourages our students to achieve their dreams. He and his wife, Becky, who is a proud Warrensburg High School alumnus, have been blessed with 3 children, all WHS alumni. During his lifetime, he has lived in 4 different countries, and that has helped him develop a deep respect for all people of various cultures, creeds, and ethnicities. You may often see him running with our cross-country team across town, showing them that the old man still has it. Working on his farm, baking loaves of bread, which if you haven't had, you are missing out, or serving in his church. From my personal account, no matter what he is doing, he is simply trying to make the world a better place for everyone. Will you please help me welcome Mr. Jerry Crouse?
Graduating seniors, on your behalf, late last fall, your senior council invited me to serve as a guest speaker tonight. After giving this some thought, I met again with members of the council and I asked them, what specifically would you like for us to remember as we celebrate the class of 2018? Well, for one thing, they said, we are graduating from high school, and we're all together in sharing this accomplishment. They added, we've been through some struggles together. Specifically, one of you mentioned the pain and loss that you've shared in facing Ashley Simon's death in an accident a little over a year ago. Through both our times of accomplishment and our times of struggle, the senior council members said, we've developed a sense of unity as a class. We're actually pretty cordial with one another. And for the most part, we like each other. Tonight, we're all here with you, class of 2018, because we're proud of you and ready to celebrate your graduation from high school. Perhaps sensing that I might benefit from some additional assurance as I prepared my remarks for tonight, the senior council then said, Mr. Crouse, you can say whatever you want to in your speech. It'll be fine. And so I accept the honor you've given me to share some words of encouragement for you as you celebrate this accomplishment and begin a new chapter in your lives. It was in May of 1992, 26 years ago. My wife, Becky, and I were attending a workshop in Baltimore, Maryland. The Jesuit priest named Henry Nouwen drew a long line across the board at the front of the room. He said, imagine that this is the span of human existence on Earth, approximately 100,000 years. He then made a mark on that timeline. This mark, he said, signifies the span of each of our lifetimes when considered relative to the longer span of human history. You and I are really just tiny dots on the line of human history. We're here for maybe 100 years at most, and then we're gone. Not only that, we each are one human life among the 7.6 billion people who currently live on planet Earth. As we take a step back to see ourselves in the perspective of human history and in our place among the billions of other men, women, and children living on Earth today, our individual lives can feel kind of insignificant. But Nouwen then went on to say, so why do you think each of us have been given this brief moment in history to live on Earth? Coming from a Judeo-Christian faith tradition, Nouwen said that he thinks we each are given our life to live as a way of personally saying thank you to our Creator. Building on Nouwen's idea in a way that may be more inclusive of many different faith traditions that we represent tonight, including those of us who do not subscribe to any particular religious belief, I propose that the reason we have each been given this moment in history to live our life is so that we can personally do our part to make the world a better place. On the one hand, when contrasted with the span of human history and the numbers of fellow human beings living on the planet, our lives seem insignificant. But on the other hand, each of our lives are unique and precious. There is only one you. There's only one now. The choices that you make each day, the relationships that you have, and the things that you do are significant. Now, with several decades of my own life experience, I offer to you, honored soon-to-be graduates, 2 suggestions for making this world a better place as you decide how you will live the rest of your precious life. First, I suggest that you don't waste stuff. According to the Global Footprint Network, the ecological footprint measures the amount of natural resources being consumed per person each year. A positive biocapacity reserve means that in a year's time, the planet is able to replenish, with some room to spare, the resources a citizen is using. A negative biocapacity reserve means that the planet is not able to replenish resources at the level that they're being used up by the citizens of that country. Based upon their calculation for the year 2014, when you started high school, a sustainable biocapacity per person in the United States was 3.6. But data indicated our actual per person ecological footprint that year was 8.4, which left us with a biocapacity reserve of negative 4.8. In other words, our present level of consumption is more than double the planet's capacity to replenish those resources. Our current lifestyle is not sustainable. Oren Lyons is chief of the Onondaga Nation of the Iroquois Confederacy in New York. He writes, "We are looking ahead, as is one of the first mandates given us as chiefs, to make sure that every decision that we make relates to the welfare and well-being of the 7th generation yet to come." What about the 7th generation? What natural resources will support the lives of your great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren? So, class of 2018, as you live your one precious life, walk, ride a bike, carpool, use public transportation whenever you can. Don't let the water run while you're brushing your teeth. Turn off the lights when you leave the room. Drink from a reusable water bottle. Recycle. Save money. Take care of the planet. Don't waste stuff. My second word of encouragement is that you continue to open your hearts in kindness to others. In the New York Times best-selling book entitled The Book of Joy, the Dalai Lama of Tibet writes, "I always emphasize when I meet people, we are all the same human beings. 1,000 people, same human being. 10,000 or 100,000, same human being, mentally, emotionally, and physically." Many times during every day of our lives, we each choose the attitude that we will have towards one another. If we choose to see other people as human beings, and if we choose to be concerned about them, and then if we choose to open our hearts with kindness towards everyone, we will discover the joy of community. This will help us to not feel lonely, but rather to feel a part of something bigger. We will feel our connection with all people who are sharing the privilege of living our precious lives together for this moment in history. A few weeks ago, I was traveling to Grand Rapids, Michigan for a conference. It had been a long day. I was sitting in the Chicago Midway Airport waiting area by the gate from which my flight was due to depart at 11:30 p.m. for the final brief journey across Lake Michigan to my destination. Suddenly, I woke up to the kind voice of a woman saying, "Excuse me, sir, are you wanting to board the flight to Grand Rapids?" As I shook off the disorientation from my unexpected nap and looked around, I realized that everyone else was already on the airplane, and I was about to miss my flight. The good news is, I made the flight, and all was well, but only because a woman had the courage to go out of her way and open her heart and kindness to awaken the elderly gentleman sleeping alone in the waiting area. Class of 2018, during your 4 years at WHS, our society has experienced several significant social movements. Black Lives Matter, the Women's March, Me Too, and the March for Our Lives movement for safe schools. Beyond all of the divisive rhetoric in response to these movements, I find great hope from the fact that each of these initiatives began with the same goal: that every human being among us be respected by all of us and provided the opportunity to live out our one precious life in safety, without fear of racism, injustice, gender discrimination, sexual harassment, or of being killed while at school. These movements simply call for the genuine support of our communities, our schools, and our nation for every single human being. Each day, you and I have many opportunities to look beyond ourselves to see another person who is living her or his one precious life. We have the choice of opening our hearts in kindness by looking one another in the eye and saying, "Good morning," by opening the door for the next person, by stepping to the side of the bike path so the child on the wobbly two-wheeler can pass, by listening to what the other person has to say, by seeing someone else's need and responding to help, by treating everyone respectfully, regardless of our skin color, our gender, our faith tradition, our sexual orientation, our abilities, our economic situation, our age, our ethnicity, or national origin, by letting one another know that we are not alone on this journey. Graduates, tonight we celebrate with you your accomplishment. We wish the very best for you in the next chapter of your life, whether it is into the workplace, on to college, enlisting into the military, time for rest and discernment, or something else. In the lifestyle that you choose, don't waste stuff, always keeping in mind your responsibility to the seventh generation yet to come after you. And while you live out your precious life, have the courage to open your heart every day in kindness to the other 7.6 billion of us. We look forward to the many ways you will continue to make this world a better place for everyone.
They said I was At the side of the road, there were tracks all around. It had recently snowed. In the darkness and cold, with the wind in the trees, a girl with no name and no memories but these. Rain against a window, sheets upon a bed, terrifying nurses whispering overhead. Call the child on ER, give the child a hat. I don't know a thing before that. Traveling the back road, sleeping in the wood, taking what I needed, working when I could, keeping up my courage, foolish as it seems, at night all alone in my dreams, in my dreams, shadows call, there's a light at the end of a hall, and my dreams fade away, but I know it all will come back one day. I dreamed of a city beyond all compare. Is it Paris, Paris? A beautiful river, a bridge by a square, and I hear a voice whisper, I'll meet you right there in Paris, Paris. You don't know what it's like not to know who you are, to have lived in the shadows and traveled this far. I've seen flashes of fire, heard the echoes of screams, but I still have this faith in the truth of my dreams. In my dreams, it's all real, and my heart has so much to reveal, and my dreams seem to say, don't be afraid to go on, don't give up hope, come what may. I know it all will come back one day.
At this time, we'd like to recognize our honor graduates. The following students have earned the distinction of cum laude. They've earned a cumulative weighted GPA between 3.87 and 4.02. Graduates, please stand as your name is read, and please hold your applause until the end. Grace Bagby, Joshua Banks, Lonnie Boutwell, Connor Burson, Latamara Gates, McKaylee Johnston, Alexis Kinney, Jordan Kimbley, Tabitha May, Mackenzie Mazzara, Audrey Murphy, Elizabeth Nimmer, Jessica Paxton, Morgan Regan, Charlie Ryan, and Timothy Wiley.
Students who've earned the honor of magna cum laude over 4 years have earned a cumulative grade point average of 4.03 to 4.19. As I read your name, please stand, and we will hold our applause till all students' names have been read in this category. Delaney Adams, Victoria Bergman, Trevor Fabian, Lillian Hafferkamp, Colton Hartford, Autumn Hefner, Ashley Horn, Alice Jerkowitz, Sarah Lowe, Miranda Lloyd, Christopher Malloy, Corinne Miller, Matthew Richner, Trenton Rogers, Elena Schudel, Joshua Sterling, Dawn Stewart, Hannah Stillwell, Alexis Wells, and Cameron Whitney.
The following students have earned the distinction of Summa Cum Laude. They have earned a cumulative weighted GPA of 4.20 and above. Please stand as your name is read, and we'll hold our applause until the end. Carolyn Shockey, Catherine Shockey, Ethan Crook, Shelby Davis, Caitlin Dunlap, Patrick Finan, Katerina Georgievic, Abigail Gilbert, Audrey Gillum, Rebecca Heath, Acacia Jerkowski, Jonathan Larimore, Tiffany Liu, Cassandra Marks, Megan McBride, Kennedy McGee, Hayden McLaughlin, Shania Montufar, Ethan Orr, Haley Owens, Max Ridenour, Carly Russell, Jackson Sampson, Delaney Sauer, Hannah Sawyer, Emerald Shearer McKinley, Valencia Schuler, Allison Schull, Molly Schumard, Sarah Slabashevsky, Caroline Smith, Lauren Snare, Ashley Staub, Abby Tauken, Joshua Terrell, and Colleen Wright. Congratulations.
Good evening. It is my pleasure as the president of the class of 2018 to introduce your outstanding student speakers. They display the character and values representative of this class. Without further ado, Tiffany Liu and Jonathan Larimore.
All right, good evening, everybody. As many of you already know, I did a great deal of procrastinating when it came to writing this speech. You see, things like youth and friendship and history, they seem like these huge, complicated concepts, and I guess I was trying to talk about them in a sophisticated way. But as I stand up here in this funny-looking outfit, gazing out at everyone I've ever loved, well, things are starting to seem pretty simple. Youth is both indefatigable energy and chronic sleep deprivation. It's memorizing Spanish projects until 3 a.m., running on pure adrenaline and undercooked pizza rolls. It's bombing tests you thought you passed and passing tests you thought you bombed. Youth is Foursquare, trashy pop songs, and late, late nights. It's good days and bad days, and failing even though you tried your best. It's finding solidarity in shared struggles, and understanding that everything you feel, the person in the seat next to you feels too. Friendship is you and you and you and you. Friendship is knowing that as long as we're together, we don't need anything else. It's lounging for hours on the basement floor or in the back of a 2006 Honda Civic, staring at nothing, talking about nothing, and laughing at every little thing. It's slumber parties, greasy pizza, and the sound of a basketball hitting the asphalt. Mario Kart, old horror movies, and pranking Mr. Bax. And maybe I'm just dramatic, but the starry night never looks as beautiful as when my friends are standing under it. And country music never really sounds good unless my friends are the ones singing it. History, as we've all learned, is the Parthenon, Abe Lincoln, and Archduke Franz Ferdinand sandwich. Yet the thing is, I think history is also a small rural college town. And all of our everyday lives, well, they're history too. The thing about history, though, is that it can never be changed. And so, for the rest of our lives, whether you like it or not, we will have been the Warrensburg High School class of 2018. And a part of us will always belong here, to this school and to each other. Though we'll all go our separate ways soon, I'd like to think that this town and its magic will preserve our best memories somewhere in time, and there, some version of ourselves will exist forever. I really, truly hope that the future holds everything we could ever imagine we'd want. And all our dreams, I hope we achieve them too. I hope we become engineers and doctors and lawyers and astrophysicists and hairstylists and politicians and teachers, whatever it is we think we want. But really, more than anything else, I hope that we can find happiness in the simple joy of being young, together, and alive, wherever we're fortunate enough to be. Because in the end, you have to remember that this life is beautiful, and we are so lucky to know it. So guys, to the graduating seniors of the Warrensburg High School class of 2018, I mean it when I say it has been my utmost pleasure to be here with you. So thank you, good luck, and goodbye.
Am I as red as my robe yet? When I sat down to write this speech, the only tapping my fingers did were against my temples, and the only words that graced my computer were imaginary. What would I say? How could I say it? It took me weeks to realize that I couldn't write a speech. There was no way to explain all that I wished to say in simple prose. The emotions I wished to convey were markedly absent. So instead of writing down my mind, I chose to write down my heart. For those of you who have never heard me perform, my poetry is not what you would expect. It's not classical, it's not slam, it's not modern, it's nothing most people are used to, but it's mine. I present to you all my poem, Children Climbing Mountains. Take me back. Take me back to the carelessness, when the only school we attended was the school of innocence, when papers that needed to be filed were a problem for the big kids. Take me back to when Mom and Dad were giants, mountains to aspire to be, people to strive for. When I grow up, I want to be an adult. Take me back to when jobs were something we play, and something to play was our jobs. Take me back to when the sun rising in the morning was not a reason to go to work, but a reason to wake up. Take me back, childhood. We sorely miss you, but like the playtime we once enjoyed, our childhood is gone. Take us back. So let's go back. Let's go back to when our only complaint was that the sunscreen was too cold and the sand was too hot. To when coffee smelled delicious but tasted absolutely atrocious. To when our dreams were all real. Let's go there and let's stay there. When we grow up, we want to be children. So let's go back. Let's visit our favorite hiding spots. Call all of our imaginary friends back for tea. Let's color outside the lines with faded markers and build pillow forts to the sky. Let's embrace our giant parents and dear friends and tell them we love them and love with the wonder and courage we've always had but could never be brave enough to express. Let's go back to who we are. We don't have to go back. We've been here this whole time. We still seek out our favorite hiding spot. We still visit our imaginary friends from time to time for tea, and we're only fooling ourselves when we say we color inside the lines, even though the picture is still beautiful. And we tell our parents and our friends we love them, even if we don't say it, with our kindness and our time. We are still who we once were. We are still children. We still have dreams. We still have aspirations. We still wish to climb that mountain to the peak of who we are. We are the best we that we can be. We are still here. We still have hope. So when the final congratulatory cards have been mailed in, and the cake has been cut, and the family has left and everything is done, we are not. We are the same. We are only what we always were. Do not let this world take up so much of your mind that there is no room for the imaginary one. Because in our dreams, it's all real. There is a child in all of us, and that is what we will be. Thank you.
At this time, as principal of Warrensburg High School, it is my honor and privilege to inform you that these members of the class of 2018 have met the graduation requirements as set forth by the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education and by the Board of Education of the Warrensburg R6 School District. I recommend to the Board of Education, to Board President, Mr. Gary Grigsby, and to the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Scott Patrick, that each of these candidates of the class of 2018 be recognized as graduates from Warrensburg High School. Mr. Grigsby and members of the Board of Education, I present to you the class of 2018.
Thank you, Dr. Pummill, and congratulations to the senior class of 2018. I'm Gary Grigsby, and I stand before you as the president of the Warrensburg R6 School Board. It is my very distinct honor and duty to accept your class for graduation on behalf of the Board of Education and to pronounce your readiness to transition into becoming alumni of Warrensburg High School. On behalf of the Board of Education of the Warrensburg R6 School District, I'm pleased to accept the 222 candidates for a diploma from Warrensburg High School as presented by Dr. Pummill. I also extend my compliments and thanks to the entire faculty and staff for their preparation of the students for this important evening. To the parents and guardians who have nurtured and supported the students, to our friends and family who are present here tonight to join in this celebration, and especially to you, the class of 2018. You have worked very hard to meet the requirements for your high school diploma. We're very proud of your many individual and collective accomplishments. As you transition into your new freedom of adulthood, may you always remember that you also bear the responsibility for the decisions that you make and the actions that you take. Just as with your immediate family, you will always be welcomed back home, so too will you always be welcomed here at your school home. Based upon the recommendation of your high school principal, Dr. Bret Pummill, we may now proceed with the ceremony recognizing the individual members of the WHS class of 2018. While my customary line when I introduce the bands would be, "Is your band ready?" With your class, I'm asking, "Is the world ready?" Go forward and make us proud. Semper Fi.
Please hold your applause until all graduates have been announced. Delaney Elizabeth Adams. Minnie Rose Alarcon. Angelo Dominic Alley. Ariana Rose Ames. Diana Kristen Amiva. Shamar Devon Arnett. Grace Kathleen Bagby. Joshua Ryan Banks. Faith Daleen Barker. Miles Drake Berry. Brittany Leanne Bilbrook. Jacob Chamberlain Bishop. Matthew Warren Beeson. Kobe Jeremiah Blessing. Haley Ray Boatwright. Matthew James Boone. Lonnie Nicholas Boutwell. Zachary Taylor Brandt. Logan Tyler Brister. Megan Grace Brooks. Timothy Mason Birch. Kaylee Lene Bergen. Connor Jeffrey Burson. Austin James Burt. Reeves James Lee Carmack. Ty Matthew Carter. Cole Alan Castelaw. Hayden Riley Castor. Carolyn Leslie Chalky. Catherine Yvonne Chalky. Elijah Morgan Clements. Nathaniel Allen Clifford. Moira Ann Clifton. Cade Robert Conley. Ethan Sean Crook. Callie Elvira Culver. Cameron Ann Cummings. Gregory William Mateo Cup. Sarah Rose Curtis. Hope Meredith Dahlhoff. Adrian Allen Dale. Gregory Alexander Dale. John Emsley Dale. John Michael Davidson. Andrew Michael Davis. Shelby Elizabeth Davis. Chase Allen DeShong. Mariah Rose Dicely. Skylar Lynn Driscoll. Caitlin Ashley Dunlap. Jenna Marie Eckerman. Samuel Stewart Espy. Jarrett Wade Evans. Grant Thomas Devers Farrell. Trevor Thomas Fabian. Patrick Robinson Fanan. Marcellus Coleman Fletcher. Sage Tierra Flores. Katie Leellen Floyd. Nolan Ray Fontaine. James Patrick Foster. Dante Malik Gant. Latamra Deanna Gates. Katarina J. Georgievic. Abigail Jane Gilbert. Audrey Rose Gillum. Jillian K. Godfrey. Jordan Paul Goodwater. Isaac Joseph Graham. Dasani Abon Gray. Jackson Wesley Green. Aubriana Alexis Leanne Gulliford. Lillian Marie Hafferkamp. Justin James Hall. Ryan Amber Elaine Harrelson. Zahara Jacqueline Lachey Harris. Kendall James Harrison. Colton Jack Hartford. Caden Maxwell Hasty. Rebecca Heath. Kennedy Leanne Heavner. Autumn Kaylee Hefner. Jenny Lynn Heichman. Kyle James Henderson. Wyatt Andrew Hill. Cameron David Hillman. Kirk Daniel Hillman. Dakota Lane Holt. Ashley Jordan Horn. Nicholas Robert Hoskins. Addison Christine Jackson. Amaya Shantae Jackson. Hunter Andrew Jenkins. McKaylee Nicole Johnston. Denver Trenton Jones. Alice Jerkowitz. Acacia Jade Jerkowski. Alexis Marie Kenny. Jordan Renee Kimbley. Brian S. Napper. Sean Michael Kosmiski. Jarrett Lee Kreisel. Brooke Elizabeth Keck.
Mackenzie Renee Land. Jonathan James Larimore. Brendan Timothy James Leary. Tiffany Zhang Liu. Spencer Earl Long. Sarah Grace Lowe. Miranda Lynn Lloyd. Juan Pablo Luna Perez. Nathan Joseph Manning. Cassandra Maria Marks. Hayden Michelle Martin. Tabitha K. May. Megan Joy McBride. Logan Thomas McCormick. Kennedy Milan McGee. Jacob Scott McKinney. Angelique Myra McCoy. Hayden James McLaughlin. Christopher Thomas Malloy. David James Mendez Holt. Blake Scott Michael. Brittany Nicole Miller. Corinne Danae Miller. Mackenzie Loren Mazzara. Zachary J. Morrell. Thomas Wayne Morgan. Audrey Estella Murphy. Dalton James Nappy. Elizabeth Nicole Nimmer. Jane Renee Norman. Sana Rose Marguerite Knoll. David Payne Nuss. Ethan James Orr. Haley Lynn Owens. Anthony Jacob Patagi. Tiffany Michelle Powinski. Jessica Nicole Paxton. Austin David Payne. Frank Cade Peterson. Skylar Mackenzie Pigman. Shilpa Ann Piontek. Trinity Lynn Preston. Jonathan Ray Prettyman. Morgan Justice Regan. Jacob Monroe Renfro. Charlie Gale Rhine. Destiny Dawn Ritchie. Matthew Judson Richner. Max Carter Reidenauer. Jacob William Robertson. Trenton Tyler Rogers. Veronica Carolina Ruperto. Carly Angeline Russell. Jackson Charles Sampson. Landry Elizabeth Sartwell. Delaney Joe Sauer. Hannah Leanne Sawyer. Joshua Michael Schneider. Elena Jewel Schudel. Lauren Elizabeth Shoemaker. Autumn Skylar Jade Scepter. Morgan Lee Shackelford. Patrick James Sharp. Emily Renee Sharp. Emerald Grace Shear McKinley. Nathan Stephen Sheehan. Eric Allen Shepard II. John Taylor Sherman. Valencia Simone Schuler. Allison Nicole Scholl. Molly Catherine Schumard. Catherine Joanne Silver. Sarah Elizabeth Slabashevsky. Caroline Olivia Smith. Kazarian Tatum Marie Smith. Lauren Chrysostomo Snare. Riley William Sopko. Ashley Virginia Staub. Madison Nicole Stacy. Kayla Renee Stanley. Joshua Michael Sterling. Samantha K. Stetnich. Dawn Kirsten Stewart. Hannah Marie Stillwell. Hannah Mackenzie Summit. Mercedes Autumn Talent. Abby Anna Tauken. Carly Rose Russell. Joshua Lane Terrell. Jalen Renee Terry. Tiara Mackenzie Thomas. May Lise Toa. Bendrick Zofield Turnbow. Justin David Van Blarkum. Lillian Louise Van Zell. Andrew Bryant Wareham. Jackson Mathis Webb. Alexis Ann Marie Wells. Alec Blaine Weskovich. Cameron Elise Whitney. Christian Dean Wiltshire. Timothy Dwayne Wiley. Edward Marquette Wilhite. Russell Wade Wilkins. Abigail Lynn Wilson. Zoe Michelle Woods. Colleen Josephine Wright. Hope Holly Yersak. Ethan Dalton Zekel.
Congratulations, graduates. I want to welcome you to a very distinguished group, the alumni of Warrensburg High School. We bid you farewell and wish you the best as you accept new challenges and begin new adventures. Thank you to all who attended this evening and helped to make this a memorable evening for the graduates of 2018. Good evening, and please travel safely going home. Thank you.